It's about your attacking his father-in-law, Mr. Trump. Mr. Giuliani, you attack his father-in-law and allude to him being a criminal because he's from the Ukraine. This is classic mob technique to send a signal to the individual who Mr. Trump has called a rat for telling the truth.
After enduring days of criticism, endless tweets, and verbal attacks from Donald Trump and his TV lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, Michael Cohen sought to postpone his testimony before the House Oversight Committee to take place early next month, citing ongoing threats against his family. But now it looks like Cohen may not have a choice, since the Senate Intelligence Committee has subpoenaed him to testify, and his lawyer, Lanny Davis, who you just saw, says Cohen will comply. Join me now, MSNBC legal analyst Maya Wiley, former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade, MSNBC legal analyst Paul Butler, and former Special Agent Douglas Colon. And Doug, I'm going to go with you first. You are a special agent and you specialize in labor racketeering. When you hear stuff like what I'm just going to play you right now, I want you to tell me if it's the kind of cases that you dealt with. Take a listen.
He should give information maybe on his father-in-law, because that's the one that people want to look at, because where is that money? That's the money in the family. And I guess he didn't want to talk about his father-in-law. He's trying to get his sentence reduced.
His father-in-law is Ukrainian. His father-in-law has millions and millions. Of course it's not. I'm telling you, it comes from the Ukraine. The reason that's important is he may have ties to something called organized crime.
Douglas, what do you make of these guys?
You have implied threats and you have direct threats. In this case, you have the implied threat where, the old put your hand on the shoulder and said, hey, don't worry about this, that, the other. You know what? How's your granddaughter doing? Does she still take piano lessons over on 23rd Street and Park Avenue? She has a whole life ahead of her. That's the implied threat to the family. If you think about it, if you go back to Stormy Daniels, when Trump had Michael Cohen as his fixer, his job was to make sure he got someone to take care of the problems that Trump encountered. So if you go back to the time when she was in the parking lot and someone accosted her, if in fact that was from Michael Cohen, he would be the person who would actually send someone to intimidate her. Now that Cohen is now outside of the loop, he's no longer in the cocoon of the Trump circle. Now he knows how people move, so he now thinks it may be someone coming after his family. So that same threat goes towards your father-in-law, who then goes down to your wife, which goes down to your children. So I think it's the same line of threats.
And to your very point, here is Lanny Davis, Cohen's lawyer, talking about just that.
The family of Michael Cohen has been called out by Donald Trump. Once again, he ducks or lies about what he knows he's done, which is to attack a father-in-law and a wife as a way of getting to Mr. Cohen, and that is called witness tampering, obstruction of justice.
Paul Butler, it is ironic, as Douglas pointed out, that Cohen used to be the guy who delivered the implied threats. Now he is on the receiving end. Does that, in a sense, make him a better arbiter of what it is he's up against when it comes to Donald Trump?
It does. And in this case, it worked, because after these threats from Trump and Giuliani, then Cohen says he's not going to testify. Ultimately, it's not his choice. He could be required to give testimony to Congress. But the other irony is with Rudy Giuliani, who made his name as a prosecutor going after mob families. And now he's acting like the same kind of thugs who he sent to prison. Joy, if a round-the-way dude said to a witness, yo, man, I see your father-in-law, that round-the-way dude would be in handcuffs. It shouldn't be any different when the president of the United States does it. In fact, it should be worse, because this is the most powerful man in the world. He has the ability, the Justice Department reports to him. So he has the ability to carry out these threats. Even if he can't be indicted, at minimum, it's abuse of office, which is ground for impeachment.
And can I just go back, because we're going to talk about Donald Trump again, but I do want to go back to the point that Paul made about Rudy Giuliani. Barbara McQuade, Rudy Giuliani was a U.S. attorney, the job you used to do as well. When you hear him engaging in these kinds of tactics, a lot of people have expressed shock about what has happened to him since he was mayor of New York City. But what do you make of it when you hear an attorney, a lawyer, a former prosecutor engaging in this kind of threatening behavior too?
I think it's an absolute disgrace. And I think it also, I agree that it does amount to witness tampering. I think that some people are maybe faked out by the fact that this is so open and notorious. You know, ordinarily, when you have these kinds of threats and intimidating lines, they come privately or behind closed doors, so they can't be detected. But here, because they're on Twitter, I think it gives sort of the guise that they can't possibly